Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world joining us for the Metaverse Nomads live stream. Here we are again. This is episode 43. And as you can see here, we're just working with a skeleton crew. We might have Ray join us, but at the moment it's just Fancy Hat and myself, Whitticus. And yeah, we've got just a bit of news, a couple things to talk about, and then some Star Atlas info as well, a couple more drops from them. And yeah, with that, we will go ahead and get this show started. How you doing, Fancy?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Really enjoying the sandbox competition being over. I spent way too much time on that. What about you?
Yeah, man, just enjoying the lull in the market without too many more big drops and big interruptions. I mean, obviously we've got some info about hacks in the news, but not necessarily token related, but more about Discord. But yeah, just a lull and just interesting paying attention to the projects that we are keeping our eyes on develop without so much of the fanfare that you get during bull markets. So. And yeah, Star Atlas has been chugging along. I think this coming week is the week that the bulk of their internal staff are on a retreat. So it'll probably be pretty quiet this week. But we do have some stuff to talk about and a few things that have been shared. So yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, they did leave us a couple interesting things before they left. So yeah, before we get into Star Atlas, though, let's check out a couple news stories. So one thing that happened this week was the MEE6 bot got hacked, and it was sending like malicious links out to people. And this is like a really widely used type of bot. So yeah,
you know, it's fascinating. I mean, like, and I think we probably I wouldn't say it's just limited to this industry. It's probably every industry where there's opportunity. But, you know, there's just a strange thing of duality, man, the dark and the light. And it's like where there's a will and a way, there's going to be people doing stuff, man, whether it's scams or bots or and these things take time and energy. And I just have to ask myself sometimes, like, is it really worth the time and energy? And what is the return that you get on effort, you know, when you just are disruptive like this? But in some strange way, it makes the systems, it makes the network, it makes it all stronger by getting stress tested, but it sure is inconvenient to a lot of people.
Yeah, I agree. Another server that got hit this week was Gala. One of their mayors got hacked, and he was sending out at everybody message every second for like 30 minutes, which was really annoying. So yeah, it would be interesting to see how successful all of these are, and obviously you can like go and find it on the blockchain, but yeah, I wouldn't go anywhere near one of them links. Keep yourself updated, guys.
You know, it's I saw somewhere, I think it was in Gala's Discord, where they were talking about if you see an image that doesn't open up, don't click on it because they'll somehow get your token that allows them to utilize your password. I didn't read the whole thing, but I was just like, really? That seems like that should be something that should not be able to happen within just, you know, Discord's own setup. So yeah, just really strange. So it sounds like just because of the way that APIs are used, that these scripts are gaining a lot of access. So I'd be curious to see what changes going forward.
Yeah. So yeah, it wasn't that much news. We don't really want to get that too deep into Luna because we did that last week, but there has been a few developments, so go check that out if you haven't. Yeah, one big thing that dropped this week on Star Atlas was a new video of the Calico Guardian, which is I was really impressed by this. It was such a great video.
Yeah, as you play it, we'll kind of talk through it there. So, one of the things that I liked about this video is they start off with a point of view. And by the way, one of the things you mentioned is like how much more of the greenery, like you said, the gardener showed up. There's more green in the background than the last time we were looking at this particular view. And of course, we know this is a big ship because it's outside, because you're not going to be able to stick this in a showroom. But they show it from a couple of angles where you can't really tell what it is right away. And then all of a sudden they zoom out and you realize you weren't even looking at a whole ship. You were just looking at a turret.
Yeah, and this one's such a beast, really.
Right. I'm curious, you guys, in the comments there, what is your favorite large ship? Like, this is a legendary and it's a capital ship. And my thoughts on this, I love this ship, got one. And the thing that I like about it most is that it reminds me of like the Explorer ships. For example, I don't know the ship's name on the Orville, or the Orville. Oh, there you go. There's the ship's name. I was like, what is the ship's name on that show, the Orville? Oh yeah, it's the Orville. There's that. Or when you look to Star Trek, it's got those sleek lines, like it's made for exploration. It's like sciencey looking.
Yeah,
But then
totally.
when I look at some of the other ships, like the Pierce, those ones remind me of like something the U.S. Navy and Air Force would have built. Like it was a hybrid of a fighter jet and a battleship. That's kind of what the Pierce ones look like to me. And then you look at the Busan. If you saw one of those show up on your, on your screen, you would know that there's probably an alien behind the seat. So I like how there's a distinct look between the different styles and the this particular one, the Calico line is one of my favorites for sure, especially this ship. This is still my favorite ship.
Yeah, if I could, I would. I got the hero to go inside. I mean, it will fit perfectly, but no Guardian yet.
Yeah,
I really like the way this mud character looks as well in this model. We've seen all of these.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Falcor. I like calicos and rainbows for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of fans of Rainbow. Just the description of how it is described to be like a high-risk zone ship. I think that's really awesome. Oop. You can see here the Rainbow high-risk zone, exotic materials required. Yeah. As soon as I saw that, that's when I decided to get one instead of the Pierce X6, I believe. Yeah.
So high risk zone. I'm curious. So what are they saying by calling it that, as opposed to we don't see that really listed with other ships? One of my guesses is that the thing is fast. All of the rainbows seem to be really fast traveling vessels. So maybe that's one of the things that helps it.
Yeah, well, it says high risk zone exotic materials. So materials you'll only get from the like hardest areas. So you won't be able to make a rainbow until they get unlocked.
Oh, got it. So that's the materials it's made of, which would make sense because when we look at the other rainbow ship, which one is it? Oh, the Ark. That thing is just freaking awesome. It's just like a whole bunch of plates that can transform and and end up being whatever shape you want it to be is kind of what it looks like. I wonder how that will actually play out, like what will be the use case and can you really do that? But yeah, this thing, obviously it's got to be some space age material to be able to have a form factor like that, just from these plates. But also, when you see light coming out of it, the question I've always had about this ship is, what does it do for field containment? You know what I mean? Like, so that you actually have, so that you're not consumed by by the vacuum of space.
Yeah. Who knows? It's sci-fi. You can just describe it as technology we don't
Right.
understand yet.
And this thing, at the way, bring that picture back up. Also, when we look at that cargo, this is the question. I brought this up last time, and this is a great one to kind of, emphasize what I was trying to say. Oh, that's another thing. So if we look at there's the piece of cargo that's flying through the air right now, it literally is being held and carried by one of those plates. And then the same thing on the one on the bottom and then the one in the back. So those things somehow are able to be, looks like they can function as a transport to lift goods as well, which is pretty cool. But I was wondering,
awesome.
I was wondering, like, those containers, how many of those can be stored on a ship? So hopefully at some point we'll have that kind of a layout. For example, if you have, like, I've got a Calico, how much cargo bay does that have? How much stuff could it hold compared to a traditional freight or something that's meant to transport goods?
Yeah, I really wish they went inside the ship on this video.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome. I was expecting it to go, but there was a lot of cool things in the background if you pause it at the right time.
Right.
So you can see all like the foliage in the trees that wasn't there before. Like the last time we looked at the showroom, it was like a barren landscape with Blur Titan out back.
I still think it's funny that we were just looking at a turret, which looked like we were looking at a whole ship.
It might be really annoying when a Titan ship's parked up. It take all the room.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's one of those situations where could you even put a Titan ship up next to this? And that's the other question. It's like, I wouldn't think a Titan ship would be able to do anything but orbit. I would think that if you wanted to, go within the atmosphere and land on a planet, you're going to take a runabout. You're going to take a smaller ship from the Titan ship. You're not going to bring it all the way down into the atmosphere. I don't even, unless it had some particular, anti-gravitational technology, it's probably not going to do well within an atmosphere anyway. So I don't know that you would park one of those up alongside this. You're probably not going to see anything larger than I would think a capital ship. I think that's probably the largest ship that you're going to want down there, because that's not even the largest of the capital ships. That one's 300 meters in length. But then if you look at like the
is the Super Phoenix,
or no, the Pierce C-11 it's not a capital, it's a commander, but it's 790 meters. So I don't see where you'd be putting that thing. Yeah, I don't see where there'd be room for that to be anywhere near the showroom, but we'll see. Maybe they'll figure out a way to do it.
Yeah. So I paused the video at this time because you can see this big like obelisk sort of structure, and yeah, in the foundation it caused a bit of chatter, and we think it's the trains that were the pictures were released earlier, like these ones are on the ground. But yeah, that's what I would guess.
Looks like it definitely looked like a railway.
Yeah, and I wonder what you're going to need that for if we have all these ships.
That's a great question. It's like, so why would you have a train if you've got all of these vehicles that can just travel around, small ships, small little transports, small little rainbow cheese and yeah.
So another thing to pause at is right here. You can like compare it quite directly to this screenshot I took way back in the last preview. No, 2 previews before this. So yeah, all
What
of
is that?
these trees and
What were we
statues.
looking at the in the background? Was that a grenader that we were looking at back there before? On that
Yeah, it was.
yeah, sitting back there on the ground. Yeah, thing's beastly.
Yeah, it is. So really happy with this video. It's I wonder, the question I always ask is, I wonder where they recorded this, like how up to date is it, and how much more do they have to like shoot at us when they want to, because we're all ready for the alpha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's got to be what that is, because you just showed it from 2 angles now. That railway goes both directions for a long way. It's got to be that train.
Maybe it's a like little extra small racing track.
That would be cool. That would actually be at some point. I would love to see some form of racing for all the racers that are out there, because there's a lot. There's actually quite a few that meet that category, from the jet on down. You know, the jet, the regular Opel jet, the Fimble Lobi, Fimble Air Bike. You know, even the Pierce X4. So there's a lot of racing capable ships, and it'll be fun to have some tracks to be able to race on.
Yeah, I like this comment by Zorvin that it's been almost a year since the post was released. It's almost a year since we started Rome as well.
True. Yeah, this is episode 43, and we do this weekly. And then prior to that, we had about 6-7 episodes of Miranda's Gentry before we rebranded. So that would put us about 2 weeks shy of a year of doing the show.
We didn't start the podcast immediately either. So
right.
Yeah, so another thing that was released this week with Star Atlas was this picture. And I can't tell what it is. It looks quite ONI-ish.
Yeah, it does.
I might need to get a new tab.
The Chi is 300 right now? Well,
damn.
Wow.
The ones I look at are the, what is it? The Packlight and the Rainbow Om.
Oh, yeah, the Chi was 279. Holy cow.
Yeah. 82% off.
Yeah, and the jets are 60, and they originally were 300 or something like that, close to there.
So OCG thought like the thing was a rail system that connects the sections of the original Earth. Yeah, that would be awesome. Nice one, mate.
Indeed. So
yeah, that leads us on to the Council of Pierce Assembly. If you don't know what the Council of Pierce is, basically it's the factions. There's ONI, Mod, and Uster, and there's a major and there's a minor, and they're all like in the Council of Pierce. So when all of these people come together, they decide on things, and yeah, there's going to be like quite a lot of lore attached to this whole event.
That's a little strange, though, being that, you know, Pierce is a major manufacturer. That seems a little slanted.
Yeah,
that'd be like the Council of Procter and Gamble. But don't worry, we're not lobbying for any particular interests.
Well, there's 3 to balance each other out in case one gets too strong, I guess. These assemblies would also help. So apparently they've been doing them for 100 years, and tensions are rising. Resources are currently plentiful, but it's becoming clear this may not be the case in the future.
Yeah. It would make sense, though, as to why, you know, Council of Pierce, COP, you know, where we see that earlier with COP. And so, of course, most of the policing vehicles are Pierce related. You know, we've seen police variations of the X6, and I think a couple of others as well.
Yeah, I got this wrong. I always say Pierce for some reason. It's Council of Peace.
Peace. Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That makes more sense. Gotcha.
Cop factions.
Yeah. I was going to say that'd be a little slanted. That wouldn't really work. Council of Peace. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, that's where they get cop then. But yet at the same time, reason I was also thinking you were saying Pierce is because most of the police related vehicles are made by Pierce.
Yeah, when I first heard the term, I think it was the title of like this picture. I thought it was like just Pierce, so that's what I called it for a while. Named the photo after it. But yeah, so there's a competition for guilds to make a PDF to present themselves, and it's going to be like a big recruitment day on June the 16th, and yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I think we have to like go up and present, or yeah, but one guild's entry each, so the whole guild will get together, and I presume most guilds will want to split that prize between anyone who participates.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is quite interesting that only a guild leader can submit it. It kind of limits people unless they are a guild leader.
Yeah. You know what's interesting is I would have rather have seen them give uh, Polis something like the winning guild X amount of Polis goes into um, their DAC.
Yeah, that would be cool. So this ends on June the 16th, and yeah, all of
Cool.
these things at the bottom, it's going to be you don't need to put the guild address. They said that in the Twitter space. You can just put like a null value if you don't have like a estimated
Mm-hmm.
value of guild assets, because a lot of people won't have that. It's really hard to get everyone's data.
Right.
So yeah, I think they mentioned this is going to be something that like recurs maybe on like a yearly basis or earlier than that. But yeah, it would be a good idea to get all the guild leaders in one
Mm-hmm.
place, and we could start scheming.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense for guilds to take notice and start gearing up now that we're getting closer to Scream, because now we actually have something to focus on. We have something that is going to require a collaborative effort of people, just based on the way that they're structuring things and setting it up. Rather than just going at it alone, so yeah, that's and the more we know about that, the better, and that gets guilds excited because we've obviously all collectively been in a holding pattern for a little while now.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see who wins. And like with the Vox competition, there was a lot of good entries, and there's a lot of guilds out there. I'm sure they're all going to try for the 5K.
Yes, indeed.
It would be nice if they would split the rewards a bit further down so there could be more winners. But yeah,
What was that brand that was down there with Star Atlas? Was that
I
say IBU?
choose power. I buy power.
I buy
That's
power.
who they're sponsoring
Full
that. Yeah.
PC set.
Yeah.
Huh.
So this week they released Busan Maiden Heart, and it's a capital fighter for 29,300 USDC.
And what does that say for, let's see. Oh, there we go. So it's got a height of 340, a width of 400, and a length of 189, so just under 200. So that's a big ship.
Yeah, 6 turret gunners.
Wow.
Yeah, and it does look nice. It is quite a weird shape. I'm not sure how it would land.
Right. But it also looks like it kind of transforms a little bit.
Yeah, I don't imagine many people would be buying this while there's capital class ships for cheaper with less supply already on the market. There is only 375 of these, though, compared to 235 Calico Guardians.
Right.
So, yeah, it's out there now, and more options for people. Like, if prices were still above the price they were released at, then people would be happy to have a cheaper option.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess you kind of just have to take it as it goes.
Right.
I guess this ship is in a direct competition with the C-11 since it's a capital fighter. That's the commander.
And what is it? What is it categorized as? It's categorized as a fighter. Okay, so that is its spec. Capital ship that's a fighter.
Yeah.
Just trying to see if there's anything unusual here. Modules, 1 drone port, 1 fuel, 1 brig. So it's got a brig. So that's probably the largest ship thus far that has a brig.
Yeah. And Pierce C-11 has a med bay and the capital hangar slot. What's this? Yeah, I think I'd rather have the capital hangar slot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the Busan. The first in the line of capital vessels from Busan, the Maiden Heart is unmistakable. Stealthy capabilities combined with an overbearing arsenal made for a military force any fleet would yearn to enlist. Expansive interior space provide accommodations for a robust crew of trained specialists. This proud testament to Solkmian manufacturing, design, and artisan spaceship shipcraft solidifies and eternalizes Busan as a true captain of industry. So not many nuggets of truth there, like there is in the Pierce X5, where it has like 4 different modes and it can do everything.
Well, that raises the question again, when a ship is categorized as a multi-role like the Calico Guardian is, like, what exactly does that mean? And what, how much does a ship's role play in, like, when you say, like, so far with roles, when we think of ship roles, we know there's fighters, we know there's ships that are categorized as freight.
There's transport as well.
We've got, transport, like the Opal Bit Boat, which is a sexy beast.
Bombers. What else is there? There isn't too many classes, but there are 1, 2, 3, 4.
So yeah, so that being the case, we know that, like, the Calico Guardian's not a bomber, so we can exclude that. We know it's not a racer, so we can exclude that. So it has some fighting capabilities, and then what else would we call it for multi-role? Like, what does it have? Some freight potential? So yeah,
it's got theater. So another thing that was released this week, Funcracker did a write-up on everything we know so far on Scream. Shout out to Funcracker. So
yeah, we should have. Well, we only found about this recently. Otherwise, we would have invited him on the show. But we'll probably do that in the future.
Yeah, especially with all these COPA, Council of Peace Assembly. I said it right. Next week we do have the week after next, I believe, we have Lumina from Coexist coming on.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So a lot to look forward to. If you haven't read the document that was revealed last week, this breaks it all down and combines all the little videos that are in there together. And I really like this part where it just summarizes everything really nicely with what you want to do in the Scream. So construct new star bases, upgrade existing star bases, and defend star bases, attack star bases. It's very focused on star bases, but yeah, when they expand the world, it will be fun to imagine like one little dot on your screen now is like a whole city in future in like UE5.
So that raises the question. So if we're going to equate this to tower defense, and the game that Chip was saying that is most influenced the direction of where they're going with Scream is Solaris. That raises the question that if you have a starbase and you have to defend that starbase, does the starbase itself have defense capability? And if so, how do you add to that? How do you build that as a faction? Because otherwise, it seems like it's just going to have like X number of starbase hit points, and it's up to you and your ships to defend it. But other than that, once the hit points are gone, the base goes away, and there's no means to repair it or for the base itself to have defense. I'm curious where they're going to go with that, because it would seem to reason that, if you've got, for example, in the future, those of us that have posters, you've got some bases. What are they being called? The structures that you've got.
Land claims.
Oh, space station. Okay, so you have a space station, and then also you have the land claims, the claim strikes. So based on both of those, you have the ability. It's my understanding that those will actually have some defensive capabilities. So I'm just curious what that's going to look like in Scream version of the game, because right now, as I mentioned, it just sounds like it's ship against ship. And then if someone gets their bombers in there and destroys your base, then your base is gone and your territory pushes back. I'm assuming that's the model.
Yeah, well, we're going to start in the security zone, I believe. So there won't be much to fight there. And then as you go into the medium risk zone, you can die and reset your level. No, lose your cargo. It'll be here somewhere.
Yeah, where does that cargo go?
Ship destruction. Since this is not high risk zone gameplay, you cannot lose any of your ships. If one of your ships get destroyed, it will reappear at a starbase where you can repair it with toolkits. Any cargo you're carrying, including your R4, will be lost. So yeah, it's not a question we will have to find out too soon with ship destruction or like ship combat. But yeah, it will be interesting to see what types, how they can implement.
That could get expensive if you just have a fully loaded, for example, not that you're going to see a Calico go down very easy, but if it does, and let's say it's reset, those things hold a lot of fuel and I mean a lot of resources. When you put those things out on mission, it takes quite a bit.
Yeah.
So you would lose all of those, and then of course anything else that you have on board your cargo. But you'd also lose the 4Rs that I'm referring to.
I think with ship destruction, I'd ideally like it to be like an ocean where people are just picking away for anything that falls to the ground if they're really small. But if they're big, they go around looking for a decent meal. So it depends what you want to do.
Yeah, for example, here I'm looking at it now. I don't know how much it is because I can't see for the repair, but to fully fuel to fully stock food for a Calico Guardian, it's 475,000 food, 845,000 fuel, and 1.52 million ammo. So, and depending upon what happens to the price of the 4Rs once they're in the hands of the player economy, if they go up considerably, yeah, it could be a pretty big hit for a person.
Yeah, I guess it all depends on how much food is being produced, how many people are playing. Yeah, because if there isn't many people playing and there's a lot of food, then it'll be extremely cheap. But if there is a lot of people playing, and yeah, I could imagine it going either way, really. There isn't any mention of burn in this article, so yeah, nothing yet. So yeah, thanks to Funcracker for putting this together. I'll put the link in the YouTube comments if you guys want to check it out.
So with regard to this question, it was asking if there's any burn mechanism for Atlas. And good question. I don't know that there is, but to give you an example of what is happening with the Atlas is that it goes into the DAO if you're not aware of that. So, for example, we pay an Atlas now for the 4Rs, and all of that is going into a wallet that is going to be associated with the Polis DAO. And it's been mentioned numerous times by Star leadership that they hope that those funds will be used to further evolve and expand things such as marketing and incentives for people to play. But ultimately, it's up to the DAO and the Polis holders. The other thing that's going to feed that once that Atlas or once the 4Rs are a part of the player economy is that to play the game, which to me is still a little strange. For example, when Scream comes out, let's say that the Guardian was the only ship I have. I can't even play with it because supposedly the hangars are not going to be big enough to accommodate it. So I can't even play my ship in Scream until I pay for a hangar that can accommodate that size of ship. But the process of paying for that hangar, the funds for upgrading your hangar to accommodate a larger ship are also going to be that new way to kind of feed the DAO. That's my understanding of it now.
Yeah. So here's the hangar section. So you start with more than one hangar. The max size capacity of those hangars is greater than extra small, and you won't be able to bring in more ships than you own in your hangar.
It's greater than extra small. So it's at this point we know that it will hold an X4. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that seems strange, though. The reason it seems strange to me again is because when Chip was talking about this in the first town hall, he was saying that, yeah, you basically just need a ship and you need some Solana in your wallet for transactions. But based on this, that's not exactly true. You're going to have some Atlas to be able to afford whatever size hangar is going to accommodate whatever ship you have that's greater in size than an extra small. So
yeah, for people who have been getting Atlas from their ship staking, that won't be too bad, but I imagine it'd be quite annoying, that extra step trying to jump into the game.
It depends on how much. For example, if the Atlas is the equivalent of a few $100s, and then then you're going to have some people that won't be so happy with that. But if it's affordable and reasonable, then that makes sense.
Yeah, the 4Rs are like 20% of the operating cost, so I imagine it would be like just something similar to that, like a percentage.
Is it 20%?
I think it does add up to that. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, that is Star Atlas this week. Anything else you want to look at in this article? Actually, there was something interesting at the bottom that I remember, that they are going to cryptographically get the data on the chain so that people can't read it directly, so they can't just see you're in like X zone. I imagine that would be game breaking if it was possible.
So, okay, so let's back that up. I'm trying to understand what you were saying there because that sounds significant. So
Yeah.
let me see if we can read that. It says most of Scream's features will be executed and resolved directly on the blockchain. The game employs 12 different smart contract programs in order to facilitate and register star bases being attacked, resources being harvested, and to keep check of the locations of all fleets. But then down below it says now clearly having all of this data available on chain would result in significant opportunities, yes, for those that are able to read this data directly and act upon it. Information is powerful after all. For that reason, in the future, the team plans to use a technology called ZK Snarks to make sure this information is cryptographically undecipherable. However, this is not yet the case with Scream at the moment, which means that blockchain analysis might be worth your effort. Okay, so basically, if we look at the two of those, what they're saying is that um, star bases being attacked, resources being harvested, and location of fleets. So, for example, if all of a sudden you see a whole bunch of resources go into a wallet, you're going to be able to have an idea of the location based on that if you're able to dig through the analytics and being able to decipher that data.
Yeah, I guess the further we get into the game, more things like that will become available because
Right.
if it gives an advantage, you can charge. I should
Yeah.
have just read it out like Funcracker wrote so eloquently instead of trying to condense it. But yeah,
Interesting.
there
Huh.
was not much more news with Star Atlas this week. Still waiting on dates for Scream and the showroom and the DAO and staking, but yeah, there is a lot on the way, and yeah, another week down.
Indeed.
So yeah, I did want to briefly touch on Gala Games today and their golden ticket. Uh,
Spin the wheel of fate.
yeah. So
So,
basic, yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead. Mhm.
Basically, the golden ticket is awarded to you if you have ever held any Mirandus item, and or if you purchased a Mirandus item. So it's quite open, especially since it doesn't matter if it's not in your wallet anymore. So yeah, if you have ever like interacted with the gallery ecosystem, you might have a chance of winning. It's one of these things. It's quite a low chance, but
Yeah.
there
So
is
obviously the
a lot
ones
of
at the top
options.
are the
Yeah,
biggest items, right?
uh,
Not
yeah.
really.
Uh,
Okay,
they're
all the
all at
way.
0.27.
Yeah.
So
So there's five elves. That's five. They're 5 grand a piece. So those that would be the well, and then I guess the Grand Inn. Yeah, some of those. The Grand Inn, the Lantern of the Sun, which right now is 50,000 Materium.
yeah. So this is in alphabetical order. So I was wondering why the elves were
Yeah.
lower than the archery,
Oh,
but
so farming. There's two farming hamlets. Holy crap!
yeah.
So that's the biggest. That's the biggest one on there. That's the biggest reward that I can see. So
And
that's the
then
and there's we'll go back up a little bit. Look like I was trying to see if there were other land deeds. Looks like there's one down a little bit lower than that. Outposts. There's 4 outposts. Okay, so far there's 6 land deeds, and an outpost right now probably goes for about 5 ETH on the secondary market. Farming
farming
Hamlet
hamlet,
probably goes for much more than that, probably about 10 ETH or more.
no ranching hamlets, and I doubt they'd put anything bigger really than that, especially on the higher chances at the bottom here. So there's an 89% chance you're going to get a deck of Cruel Fate. So most people aren't going to be a big winner in this,
Right.
but there are going to be winners.
And so yeah, people are selling these tickets. If you don't have one and you're curious and you want one, not sure if it's worth it or not based on the numbers, but they're going for about $80 on OpenSea right now. Yeah, so Farming Hamlet right now the is listed for 12 ETH. So some of the prizes are significant. Supposedly, the way that Gala mentioned that there's $1 million in Miranda's assets that are being sold. So,
Yeah, that's quite a fun little competition. Good luck. I know a
yeah,
lot of our people will have got that criteria.
yeah. Curious to see who grabs what.
Yeah.
I'll obviously let you know if I get one.
So there wasn't anything else I saw with Gala Games this week.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, not with Gala, other than they're still in the midst of May mayhem, and yeah, I'm just curious to see what's next over there. Also, isn't next month? Next month is, don't they have another Galaverse, the Copenhagen one?
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Copenhagen. Let's see, what date is that? Galaverse in June. Yeah, Copenhagen, Denmark, June 6th, 7th, and 8th. Really? I haven't seen a lot of I haven't seen a lot of stuff in the Discord about that. But yeah, so if that's coming up, that also suggests that that's when the next playtest will be, which also means that'll be the next opportunity to earn Materium. So yeah, June
Yeah,
6th, 7th, and 8th in Copenhagen. And what is the cost? The cost for a single ticket is $8,000. And for a couple, it's 14,800. 800 tickets will be available.
I'm checking out the price of Materium now, seeing how it's handled
It's
in
like
the bear
10 cents.
market.
Is that where it's at?
It's 18.
Okay. So yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll probably drop a bit again. It came out, it peaked at about $1.
Yeah,
I sold all that I had at about 68 cents, I think. Just knowing that again, that it was, it was going to go down, my guess. But that means that right now, roughly 20% of that 50,000, what is that? So 10% is 5,000, 20. So 10,000. So that means that the value of that lantern, if someone wins it, is around 10 grand.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather the farming hamlet.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if anyone is actually watching this that's planning on going to Copenhagen, let us know. Like to have some boots on the ground, telling us what's up live if you plan on attending. It's interesting. They're going to have another one too. So they've got that one. I think there's going to be another one in Europe this year as well. I don't remember where, but seemed like it was going to be somewhere in southern Europe. So
Yeah, I wouldn't consider it unless it was really local, to be
yeah.
honest. But it would be fun, I guess. How much was it last time?
Just out of principle, I'm like, I think that if a person owns enough assets or if they purchase enough from you, you shouldn't be charging them to attend your event.
Yeah. I wonder what they've got going with spider tanks, if that's any more viable. Yeah, I know they've had a big competition recently, Mayhem.
Yeah. The only other game that I'm really that I is it Fortitude? I know it's changed its name once or twice.
Yeah, let me find out.
The tower defense game. Actually, one that that I've been excited about. Because I wouldn't think it would take. I would think it seemed like that was one of the ones they were closest to bringing to market a long time ago, but now it seems like Spider Tank has pulled out in front of this one. So I'm not sure what slowed up development. And they'd actually changed a bunch of stuff in theme with this as well. The look and feel, and even the name changed since when they first launched it. So, but it looks cool. It looks like a fun game for sure. And I've got a handful of towers. I think I bought like 15 of the Arrow towers back when they came out. I don't have any of the other ones, the Ice Tower or anything like that.
I was tempted to. This guy on the screen has a couple cannons.
Right? Yeah, so the whole setup for it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it does look decent. Very different from what I remember way back.
But it's PvP too, so that makes it's like, how will that work? Because the only thing that's been sold so far is the defense. So how do you put a player against another player unless they have a horde? You know what I mean? Because in most tower defense games, that's the idea. You build up your defenses, and then you have these wave after wave of things that come in and test your defenses. So how exactly is that going to work, player against player? And then what will also be the mechanism for earning, being that this is, play to earn?
Yeah, I don't imagine it's like one big map where everyone's playing together and trying to like take it all over.
Right.
if it's PvP, it's probably like you start a match with 2 or 3 people.
Yeah. But we can see on the bottom of the screen there, you've got some, the other screen you showed there, it looked like you had, where was it? There was another screen where on, oh, go to the next screen, next screenshot. There you go. So on the bottom there, you've got some creatures, obviously some hordes. So maybe what we're looking at now is the attacker. Because otherwise, why would you have those on the bottom of the screen like you're in control of them?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this. Might be something they pull out the hat at the Galacon. They probably do have a few things they're saving for that.
And then there's loot. See that one? On that last screen? That one. You got loot, and then you've got, I'm assuming maybe is that like magic or something? Mana? Is that mana?
Probably, yeah.
And then you've got whatever that crown is down there. And you do have rounds, or instead of waves, they're just calling it round.
Yeah, it does look a bit mobile gaming, but it says it's a PC, so I guess we'll see what happens. Yeah, so this week was a shorter episode. It's just us two, but yeah, we are
Any
continuing.
Illuvium news?
We could try and do like a big episode next week with a bunch of it compiled. We haven't touched it in a while.
They've got their land sale coming up in about 10 days, I believe. I think it's June 2nd. And so that's actually going to be an interesting thing. So one of my thoughts on that is, so as we mentioned in one of the last episodes, they have different tiers. And it's going to be kind of a Dutch auction style that's going to start the first tier or the lowest tier, which I think is, does it go 5? I don't remember what direction, but the least expensive land in Illuvium is going to start at 2, the equivalent of 2 ETH. And then the price is going to go down, right? And so it'll be curious because now will you hold that in your wallet? And the reason I ask that is because there's a couple of options that this does to the market that'll be interesting. And is this: if you have the land, you can pay for it in ETH or you can pay for it in SILV. If you pay for it in SILV, that frees up those funds because now you have an asset. So will that asset be locked up within their ecosystem, or will these also be sold on the secondary market thereafter? That's going to be an interesting move that some people may make, because they'll actually free up some of their Illuvium if they actually wanted to do that, and give them some options by putting, if they hang onto the land, or if they say, hey, you know what, I'm going to buy 2, but I'm going to keep 1 and I'm going to put 1 on the secondary market.
Yeah, I know people have been waiting a while with just ILV ready. I've restaked mine, so level 1's not on the table for me. But yeah, I'm still waiting to try and get a hold of this like survival mode gameplay they were playing. But that might be a while off still. Who knows?
Right.
In development.
Cool, man. Yeah, that's just a short week, just 2 of us, not too much to cover other than what we already covered.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, if you guys have any thoughts and ideas about projects that you want us to look into or that you follow yourselves, or if you have projects and that you would like for us to reach out and have them as guests on the show, we're absolutely open to doing that as well. I know once Chipto's done with his travel with Star Atlas, would like to see him back on the show. So that would be pretty cool to pick his brain about things that are developing. Because it sounds like, based on the feedback that we've seen in Foundation Room, is that he is pretty much leading the charge over there with the development of Scream. So he's the guy to get the intel from.
Yeah, it'd be great to have him back on, and Zesk would be a really fun guest too. And like I said, we have Lumina next week. No, the week after. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Action-packed.
Well, cool, man. I think we're done for for the day, for the week.
Yeah, let us know what you think of these shorter episodes, if you like it being less than an hour, because I know not everybody has the time to sit through 2 hours plus every week.
My thoughts are is that as long as the content's there and there's conversation to be had, great. But when we have weeks like this where there's really not a whole lot, there's no reason to prolong it. So, yeah.
Yeah, we're holding just like you guys, and I'm trying not to look at the graphs too much.
We're all going to make it.
Yeah. And even if we're in like opposite guilds or factions, we're all on Team Star Atlas. Indeed.
But at least we have forward momentum. That's the thing that I really appreciate. Like I was saying during this downtime, that there's the project is progressing, and when we see stuff like that today, I love the way that they chose that angle of showing the turret on the Calico Guardian, and yeah, they're moving forward. Development is happening over there, so it's exciting.
Yeah, and there's not going to be chapters full of content every week, so it's good to just catch up with you all, and shout out to Winston for everything he does at Rome.
Indeed. Cool. We'll see you same time next week, same bat channel. Peace out.
Are you ready for the next evolution in gaming? Blockchain games are here. Why just play when you can play to earn? Enter the Star Atlas Metaverse with Rome. Star Atlas is a grand strategy game of space exploration, territorial conquest, political domination, and so much more. Rome is a premier guild of the ONI Faction within Star Atlas. Rome is here to play and to earn. Want to take part in the action? Rome is accepting new citizens. Join the Rome Guild on Discord to learn more at gorome.io.